Hi, Madeline.
Hey, David.
I am super stoked today because I am going to bring up a topic about rebranding. You may have been paying attention to the news lately.
I try not to.
There's this company called Cracker Barrel that has either pulled off the world's most brilliant marketing ever since the IHOP one, or they really jacked up their brand rebranding initiative.
You know, it's so funny you say that, but we were talking recently about that. And one of the things that I think is the way the marketing book is being thrown out the window. And I think people are just finding ways to either rebrand and get people to talk about their brand without having to pay for it. Or I don't know what's happening, because this is now happened to American Eagle. They were rebranding, but the way that the marketing strategy I don't even know that it was a strategy, but it just turned out to be a really good one, whatever it was. And I think people are learning from that. And we did talk about the other day too, about how people are showing up on social media and some of these local groups offering things that are free. But what they're doing is they're doing something really different, not necessarily the free that we think. For example, I recently saw, and did I just go on a tangent here? Because I really wanted to talk about this. This is something that I saw, and I really loved it. And in one of the groups, there was a piece there, a company that said, "I am giving a scholarship for free to gain your pilot license. You have to be in high school or graduated in 2025, but you have to be registered at this high school." And I thought that was such a brilliant way of marketing their product, because the comments exploded. People wanted to, now whoever didn't know that there was such a thing, now they do. Now they got an influx of people calling and wanting their kid, because now it's a FOMO situation, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I want my kid to be licensed too as a pilot, and they're giving 50 hours. Oh, I really need to know this. So now that kind of marketing is pretty cool. So that's branding as well.
Yes. But what's amazing about that example was, I think what it was is more so did they change their message in how they were communicating, which then I agree with you. That is one of the things that is part of a rebrand, right? And, what we were talking about as well the other day when we were saying, hey, this would be an interesting topic to have because it's today, it's topical, was, why do companies look to rebrand? Well, most companies look to rebrand for one of two reasons, right? The first is, and this was kind of interesting about the Cracker Barrel thing when you peeled back the onion of it all, is our audience not responding the way it used to be? So in the Cracker Barrel example, what it was more so is their same store sales. I mean, I didn't even know this. I had to look this up, so I'm just going to be straight up. They have 644 locations across the country. And
that's what you said, yeah.
And in 44 states. But what they were finding is that their same store sales growth was not growing at the pace it once did. And so to me, that's one of the indicators. So
what do you think is that attributed to?
What did I think? Their store sales?
The store sales not growing.
That comes into kind of the discussion, right? Because so then the next thing is the audience or their client, their existing customer base, not responding to what they used to do. And so I think the change in the logo was interesting, but this is why I questioned all along, is it changing the logo going to change who your customers are because you're still selling the same food? You're still doing almost everything the same. Yeah, you made it a little lighter in the store. You made it a little less junky or cluttered is a better word in the store itself, the restaurant. But the menu is basically the same. Everything was basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you really rebranding? You're not really rebranding the business because your message is staying the same. So I think to your point, it was what contributes to a decrease in same store sales is there something about the product that new customers aren't coming in for, and existing customers may have possibly decreased their transaction level. But interestingly enough, in the sales data, when you said that, right, is their sales data was based during the time of kind of inflation. So prices were going up. So same store sales, in theory, dollar-wise, should have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, were people spending less or did their foot traffic reduce, right? So one of the reasons why people rebrand is because their message isn't aligning any longer with their customer base.
Mm-hmm.
And the second primary reason that companies rebrand is they're going to change something in what they're going to offer. And so to me, that was really interesting because I really couldn't figure out which one it really was for them because they weren't really changing all that much. So I looked at it as, oh, this is a brilliant marketing plan. And, as of this recording, apparently they've made the decision that they're going to keep the logo the same as it was, and they're going to continue to do the remodels within the stores, but nobody really had a problem with the remodel. They had a problem that they were changing the logo because the logo was still identifiable. So what was it about the logo that they wanted to change? What was that part of it? And I don't know the answer to that.
Well, I think if you look at it, it's just a little bit more modern. It's just up to date, right? It's a little bit cleaner. I mean, what does it matter? I don't know. To me, everybody made a big deal out of it, and they don't even go there. Do you go to Cracker Barrel?
Not anymore.
But we did. When the girls were little and
Yeah.
we used to do road trips. That's the only time that we went to Cracker Barrel. I haven't been to Cracker Barrel in years, maybe 20 years. It didn't matter to me. There's more things to really worry about.
So to that point, their message either A, wasn't resonating with you any longer, or B, and this is probably more so, that what they were serving no longer resonated with you.
Absolutely.
And which I think is a natural thing to your sales status.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's interesting because we are looking at within BNN
Rebranding. Right.
And can you kind of talk to that from our standpoint? We're actually doing a rebrand for a purpose.
Yes. And our purpose is to really clarify how we can make our clients' life easier. So basically, it's kind of helping them understand that they have a problem and that we are their solution, and they just don't know it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, for us, the rebranding, the messaging, not the logo. The logo isn't that big of a deal. It is, if we want to grow and scale our organization to the next level, what does that look like and what is it that we really need to do? And for us, we figure out it was the messaging, and it's helping them understand that, we are going to solve a problem that they don't know that they really have. And we're just going to refine that.
Right. And just for some back story on our website and things like that, we did it years ago, back when websites weren't as critically important. They were like, hey, do you have a website? I sure do. And here it is. But it really did not offer everything else that we would want a website to do now. And our messaging is converting to while some of the core messaging will still be very much the same, what we're enhancing is where technology is taking. So to make them understand that we are going to help our clients deliver a better experience because we are experts in this area as well. And not everybody in our space has both, right? So we're changing a depth of our messaging while still keeping some of the same. And it's like we talked about the other day is, a logo and brand colors is simply helping you become identifiable. The message is your brand.
Yeah, it depends sometimes. I mean, believe it or not, colors matter.
Not saying they don't matter.
They do.
I'm saying, though, that if you have, agreed, that if you have chaotic colors and you're in the legal industry, it probably doesn't go well for your brand.
Right.
However, setting aside that kind of example, for most people, you know what? I don't think they would know if we had orange in our colors or if we didn't have orange in our color. Not that orange is a bad color.
But wait a minute. But how they make them feel when they look at it, it's a psychological thing.
Yes.
Like navy blues and whites, those types of colors are more in the professional environment, right? They're more, muted and, they project some sort of energy.
And it's trust and
exactly.
reliability and all that.
So they do matter.
It is part of your brand. However, what the customer responds to is what you deliver.
For sure. But what gets them to do business is that trust, and whatever that color makes them feel is what they're going to act on. My perspective.
No,
right?
I don't.
Because I've seen some things, that I just it doesn't do anything for me. And I am very visual. So I look at the visuals first and how it makes me feel. And then I read.
So let me ask you slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into a store, you didn't see really anything about their logo. You didn't see anything about their website or anything like that.
No.
You walk in
mm-hmm.
and they deliver you a phenomenal experience. Now you go back to their website and you're going to not. What I'm trying to
But why would I go to the website if I went to the store?
That's my point. So the website colors and the logo are more something that people identify with. I'm not saying it's not part of brand. I'm saying it's not the brand. The brand is the message that in the customer that you're delivering, and the service and the level. That's what creates brand, right? So you can have a logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use a story from your past. Hyundai.
Oh gosh.
If you saw a Hyundai logo in your mind now, because you owned a Hyundai,
yeah,
right? By the way, Hyundai sells really nice products now, and they're really, really good and technologically really sound. However,
you call it Hyundai, I call it Hyundai.
Okay. But my point being is, before they became the brand that they are today, right? I don't think you really thought about their logo when you bought the vehicle.
No, but I recognize it, and I am scarred for life.
Right. It's identifiable.
Yeah.
But now if I told you that they have some of the best vehicles in the market,
I say good riddance.
What I'm saying, growing forward, Madeline, let me finish.
That is something you're not going to sell me on.
I'm not selling you a car. What I'm selling you is that they now deliver a much better product and or service. And now that is what their brand is become known for, not their logo. The logo is only identifiable. Mm-hmm. Now for you, it's a negative.
Yes.
For some people,
a big one.
For some, it's a positive.
Well, that car left me stranded several times on the highway very late at night in Miami. So yeah, no.
I understand, honey. I think that Danny is getting excited because we're going back and forth with each other, but I want to keep
Did you need it to say his name?
I did.
No.
But my point being is that it is identifiable.
Yeah.
But if I took that logo off and I put you in the car and you didn't know it was that, and it delivered you an acceptable experience, what would you think?
I still will ask, what kind of car is this?
All right, never mind, guys. I tried to make my point.
Nope.
And I'm up.
No, I get your point. You're absolutely correct. That's just the brand, really, that it just doesn't do it for me.
I got it.
I am scarred for life. I was very young when I had my first vehicle, just out of high school. Had my $500 income tax return, and I went straight to the dealership. That's the first car. That was their first year, by the way, that they came out with. And I never forget about this little box, blue, at 14% interest rate. I'm scarred for life, okay? Just saying.
Yes. And now look where you are.
Yes. Now look at me.
And now
look at me go.
Now what do you drive?
What does it matter?
But it has a much better experience. And
yes,
and the logo
of course it does.
Extremely identifiable.
That logo is.
I understand. It's a great little segue to our progression in life. Right?
Yes.
And now I kind of lost where I was going on this rebranding. But I think it's important for people to understand that the messages, though, are driving the reason you need to or don't need to change. It's whether people are responding to it or not. If you're using outdated context, pictures, and things like that within your brand, then yes. However, that could also be looked at as nostalgia, right? So it depends on what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Right. So to me, the level, and I think about BNN, I think about, what really made our brand strong was the level of service, the commitment to quality, the consistency in the end product that we delivered. That's what kept people coming back. That's what our brand is known for. I don't know if most of them actually noticed we changed the type of feather we used in our logo at one point.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because the clients that have been with us since the beginning. B, when they go to our website is not designed for an ROI website. It's designed for an informational website. But now that we are going to turn the page on that and rebrand after 17 years, truly rebrand and take us to the next level, we got to be very thoughtful in how we do this. And the messaging is going to be our most critical piece, because this is, we're now going online. So, which is kind of a different thing for us. And, it'll be fun to see the evolution of that.
Absolutely. So anything else on branding you want to talk about?
No, branding is on everything we do, right? How we show up in the world, how our business, our logos, how we handle things, how we show up overall. So it's not one thing, it's just everything. So I just want to make sure that people don't get kind of pigeonholed, if you will, into just the logo, because that's all we have seen lately. Mm-hmm. It's messaging, it's logo, how you show up, how you communicate online, how all things, with the AI world now, branding becomes even more important. If you've noticed, and this is probably another podcast that we will do, is the AI and how people are communicating and how everybody's beginning to sound the same.
Yeah.
And that's something that people need to give it some more thought on it.
I agree. And I think that people have to remember when you're dealing with branding and or rebranding, right? Because even when you're first starting out, you're creating your brand imagery, right?
Mm-hmm. Your voice is brand.
Exactly. And how you're communicating and everything. But what I was going to say is it's okay to do things like everybody else. But there are certain things within your brand that have to be individualistic by nature to make sure you stand out, right? And so I think, to your point, a great logo can be a great enhancer to one's brand, because that when people start seeing that identifiable marker, I know this to be true, that when we had our fitness studio and we were doing our marketing and our pieces, people knew it was our brand.
Yeah.
Right? Not because of the logo. They knew because we chose everything to be the way we wanted. And one of the things, and this is what I wanted to make sure I discussed, is that if you're going to go through a rebrand, a true rebrand, and your existing business and you've got good, loyal customers, you can have them participate in that process. Mm-hmm. They don't get to make the final decision, but they can guide you. Right. So I was thinking about if the Cracker Barrel was truly a rebranding of the logo and everything else, right? How could they have got consensus or at least introduced what they were thinking before just putting it down there,
the
right?
validation process.
And they could have simply said to our loyal customers, we are looking at
right.
possibly changing our overall logo. Here is our current one. Here is one option. Here is another option.
Mm-hmm.
Vote.
Yeah, they could have probably, they probably could have gotten a better response on that and a little bit more buy-in from their clientele for sure. But, let's be honest, this controversy put them back on the map.
Oh, I totally agree. It'll be interesting to see over the course of the next 60, 90 days what their sales do. However, I'll use the International House of Pancakes. When they put out a marketing program, and it was IHOB, International House of Burgers. They never had any intent to actually change their name. They were letting people know we got really good burgers. And guess what? People said, hey, keep the name the same. I'll try your burger. Right? Because they care about the pancakes. Because people know the brand because of what they used to do and what they deliver. And we used to go to IHOP all the time.
Yeah.
And love their pancakes. In fact, when I was in high school, a buddy of mine worked at one, and it was like, to this day, I still think they're the best buttermilk pancakes out there.
Probably. They just became really gross.
Okay.
They just did.
Two brands that won't be sponsoring our next episodes.
Hey, listen, I am not going to sugarcoat it. It is what it is. I did the International House of Pancakes for a long time. They became really nasty in their, how they clean their stuff. It grossed me out. And so I don't ever go there anymore. But it was good when I was a teenager.
There you go. Maybe that's their audience.
It was cheap.
So anyway, all right. Well, guys, what we really wanted to do today is to help you understand that not everything is a rebrand. Two, the two principal times that most people do look to rebrand, and that's when their messaging is no longer getting responses from their audience, and the second is when they want to change and enhance their overall message to show that they're going to be doing something new. This is one of those where, as you can tell by our conversation, that it can go back and forth a little bit, and we hope that you found both sides of this discussion lively, entertaining, and mostly helpful. So until next time, see you soon.
Let's get to work.